Welcome to the Quantum Empath. I'm your host, Kelly Michelle, intuitive guide, alchemist, and reality hacker. This is a space where esoteric knowledge, ancient wisdom, personal development, and quantum physics meet to help you shift your frequency, break old patterns, and step into the life your soul came here to live. Let's expand your awareness, upgrade your energy, and create your dream reality, one episode at a time. Let's begin. I am coming at you from my home office today because I am working on digital readings. Well, they're not digital readings, but they're the kind of readings that I can do remotely because ether, which is so cool. I've known about this work for a long time, and I just recently released this product line of house clearings because several months ago when my girlfriend was down in Arizona, she was having trouble selling her house. She had 30 different showings and no offers. And so I'm like, ooh, let me go and look at that. And I'm sorry, I'm looking through my book right now that I have. And I said, let me do a clearing on your house. And I was checking for it. And we found some weird stuff. We found that it had been on a battleground previously, hundreds of years ago. And we found some weird fighting stuff in the walls of the home. She was only there for maybe a year, so she had said there were weird locks on the outsides of doors rather than the inside, usually when you're in a room and you want to lock it. But these locks were on the outside, like someone was being locked in a room. And so she's like, there's some weird stuff. And so I looked at it. I did 2 clearings. She did a $5,000 price drop, had 2 more showings, and it sold. And so I know it works. Then I've been doing multiple because I really am one of those people. I have to experiment. I have to have the feedback. I have to know that it's actually helping people at a distance before I can just come on here and say, this really helps, because I believe it. But no, my clients believe it too. And they're experiencing the benefits. So the other day I was doing one of a house that's 80 years old in Florida. And I found that they had some blood rituals on that property. And I can't remember if it was 0 to 50 or 50 to 100 years ago, but I'm pretty sure it was the 50 to 100 years ago. Another house I looked at was on a previous grave site hundreds of years ago. And so imagine if you're living in this house that has been built over this sacred ground and it's never been cleared. And then I clear it, and then she reaches out to her sister shortly thereafter and is reunited with her kids. She's having a better attitude about life and sounds like she is back into her heart space. And that was just with one clearing. And so we're going to do multiple to raise the vibration of the house. So, I love this Bovis scale chart that gives me the life force. And the other day I had measured the energy of my house. And if you want to see, let me see if I can kind of bring this down. So I had tried to figure out what my house was vibrating at. And at the time when I hadn't run any clearings, it was actually vibrating here or here. I can't remember. I don't have the writing. But let's see. I've done 2 clearings on my house. And now my house is vibrating. It's vibrating at 12 to 13. Oh gosh, I'm not even close to you guys being able to see that. Okay, well, I'm using my little desk. And when I work at my office, I can use a bigger table and get different camera angles for you. So what I found is that my house was right around here, and then now it's vibrating right around here. The thing that made me even think about this is because one of the clients that I was working with, his personal life force is right here. And when I checked his house, he's like, I really don't like being at home. When I checked his house was vibrating right here. And I was like, ooh, there's a mismatch of energetics between you that is vibrating so high and, excuse me, you that's vibrating so high and your house that is vibrating so low. Okay, so you guys, this is what I'm going to do. Just a real quick how I do it. I go in and I have this particular address that I'm obviously not going to share. And I'm just going to tell you what I find. So this particular client has asked that I do one of my 3 clearings. It's 3 clearings, 3 weeks apart for 333. So she is getting ready to put her house on the market, and she thought, hey, let me see what the vibration is and see if that will help us. Oh, and the crazy thing about this is, I'm always talking about the algorithm and how the algorithm will tell you what's going on. And then I have this channeler that comes into my feed and says, you're literally raising the price of people's property. And I'm like, I know. That's what I do. So for this particular client, I'm looking at the vibration. The current vibration of her house is 5,000 to 6,000. Wow, that's a lot. I mean, 5,000 to 6,000 is right here. Okay. So what I'm seeing with most of these house clearings is they're jumping up 1 to 2 notches as we go. So now next I'm going to look for what walls memory do we have? And I use this chart and I use this book. It's on Amazon. Maybe I'll put a link to it in my link tree because it's pretty cool. I kind of feel like everyone should have some sort of chart book that they can tap into. So right now I cannot read the chart, even though I have my glasses on. The lighting in here is not that great, but I'm okay with that because I prefer not to be able to see the fine print because I don't want to have any sort of bias. So I'm getting a really big yes right now, a really big yes. And hold on, let me get the light. Divorce. That interesting. Divorce happened and is stuck in those walls. Okay, I'll have to talk to her about that. What else is stuck in those walls? Gosh, you guys, I need some different glasses. It says incest. Incest. Interesting. But the thing is maybe. Who am I to speak for that house? Only the walls know. Ooh, okay, so we got another hit. And that is alcohol and drugs. I see that a lot, actually. And we can dial it down. We can dial it down to timelines, depending on what it is. But we've got these different timelines on the outside. And so if we said, when did the divorce happen? I mean, the reality is this house, it depends on the age of the house, but most houses, depending on if it was before or after the house was built, will depend. And so I'm sure most of this stuff will have happened in the last 50 years. So if it sounded more like this next area that I'm dowsing into is called place memory, and that is the land essentially that the house is on, and what is coming up. Former landfill. That's interesting. Because growing up, I remember finding little dumps of garbage where people would just go and dump. And so we would go and we would look for the old bottles and old tin cans, old containers and stuff. And then, ooh, interesting. So site of sacrifice. Ooh. I'm just curious, like, when was that a site of sacrifice? 100 to 200 years ago. It's possible. I mean, again, who am I to say? I'm just the reporter. I'm getting to be a reporter that I didn't get to be for the news media, but thank God. Thank God. That would have been I'm too much of an empath to be around all the sad news all the time. I went to go do an interview about a casino that was closing the day, Thanksgiving Day, and all these people were losing their jobs right at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I called this lady and I said, "Can I come and talk to you guys?" And she goes, "Honey, right now is not a good time. And, we don't need you to come and do your little school article for us." Site of torture. Yikes. Interesting. And look at how big it is. It's so big. It's so big. Well, sacrifice and torture are kind of the same thing. And we don't know if it was an animal or a person. I guess I could ask. I don't know if I want to know. But 100 to 200 years ago. So I wasn't there. This is the Akashic Records, keeping a record on everything. The Akashic Records keeps a track of everything that has ever happened. It's like a history book that's stored in the field. So anyway, I asked, is there anything else on here that I need to know? And I got no. So let me see. Oops, I accidentally had a little thing pop out on my screen. I didn't know how to. So that's what I do with the house clearings. Now with the 3, what that's doing is raising the vibration of the house, clearing the land, raising the vibration, and also it is protecting all the inhabitants in there. It's clearing any negative energy out of the space. So if you are someone who wants to put your house on the market, or you just moved into a house and you want to clear all the energetic space, you want to have it be a fresh slate for you. Also, families who are going through any sort of struggle financially or emotionally. I have done this with my kids, you guys, since I started my egg. And I've been putting them in the egg, and they are so different. We are all so different now. We work together. We're so cohesive. Someone sees that the dishwasher needs to be emptied and they do it. Or someone sees that the recycling needs to go out and they do it. And someone else says, I'll pull the garbage can in from the road. And someone else says, I just weed eat it. And we just take turns and we work together. I used to be that parent who freaked out. I was such a control freak, you guys, that if there was a dirty dish in the sink, I would lose it. If there was a spot on the floor, like a little dirty spot, I would have to get out my steam mop and clean everything and make sure I was daily sweeping up crumbs. And I'm not saying I don't clean my house, but oh my gosh, the amount of uptightness that I have around things being messy is part of the deprogramming that I had to undergo because I grew up in a very messy environment. My stepdad was a smoker and he was a construction worker, and he would come home and just like drink a 12-pack of Budweiser a day. And so on this table next to him was just ashes and cigarettes and empty beer cans, and it was disgusting. On the table in front of him, all the Playboys were laid out on the table. Like, that was just normal for our house. You know, we had old Salvation Army furniture. We had, it was interesting. It was interesting. We were I call it like the black sheep house of the neighborhood, because it wasn't just one person in the house. It was the whole family. So he would have all of his stuff on the table, and it was disgusting and dirty, and there were always dirty dishes in the sink. And we lived with, I had 3 brothers. We had a dog. My mom worked. My stepdad kind of worked, mostly just sat around and drank and smoked cigarettes and watched TV. And it was so chaotic that when I moved out of the home, I wanted it like neat and tidy, really like perfect, dust free, clean, organized. And that was the only way that I feel like I could have some control over my environment. And so I remember when I was in my Air Force days and I had my Air Force house, it was base housing. I would go around with my Windex and I would clean all the light fixtures and the door handles, and I was doing baseboard. I mean, my house was primo. It was so nice and clean, but it was almost sterile. I had this black leather furniture and black latex, or what's that? Black shiny with mirrors. It was like, 90s. That was the thing. And so it was, everything was very neat and tidy and sterile. And then I'm more of a colorful bohemian fairy flow. My house is a hodgepodge of colors and eclectic furniture, and furniture from my grandparents, and furniture from yard sales, and furniture from the thrift store, and furniture from when I was in high school. Like none of my furniture matches. It's all been gifted to me. All of it. I can't think of a piece that I have that I actually went and bought new. Not okay. My bed frame and my mattress, and my kids' bed frames and their mattresses, and then their desks are purchased. But they did that. They purchased their own desks and put them together. So now my son, he's funny. He comes home from work. He takes his clothes off in the dining room and he leaves them there until he picks them up. I used to struggle with that and say, were you good? But when you realize like, oh, that's just a program. It's just a program running. When he is hovered over a space heater with a blanket and hogging all the heat, I want to say, You're hogging all the heat. Why don't you share it with the rest of us? Because that's what I heard when I was growing up. But now I'm like, you know what? Let him enjoy that 5 minutes under that blanket of soaking in that heat. And then he'll be fine. And then he'll turn it off. And we can move on with our lives. We don't need to battle. Pick your battles. My kids think for themselves. If they want to get a job, I encourage them to get a job. If they want to spend their money on something, I encourage them to do that. We've been learning and growing together as a family. And I attribute a lot of it to raising our vibration. My kids vibrate up here. I vibrate up here. We all vibrate up here. Now we're bringing the house vibration up to our level. It's so fun. Anyway, stay tuned, soultherapy.com. If you're interested, I am here to help you guys. I'm here to help you raise that vibration. Everybody that I am working with that is raising their vibration is manifesting like nobody's business. Nobody's business. Cars, relationships, jobs, money, promotions. I mean, also, if you raise your vibration that high and you're still sending out all the negative thoughts, that might be detrimental. Don't do that. Be mindful of the thoughts that you're sending out into the field because they will return to you the more you raise your vibration. So I'm going to leave it there. I recorded a whole podcast this morning. It was probably 40 minutes long. And then when I went to hit stop, it actually just started to record. And I was like, oh, is this spirit telling me that it's time to just do the video? Take the shower, make the video. Take the shower, make the video. You don't have to do it in your bathrobe. So I am. Thank you for being here. I love you.